What's up, everyone? Today we're in one of New York's most breathtaking riding locations, the legendary Hawk's Nest. If you've never ridden this stretch of Route 97 along the Delaware River, you need to add it to your list like yesterday. It's full of twists and turns, but we can't forget to mention the hawks that own the sky around here. But today isn't just about the ride. We'll also be diving into some incredible snippet of history that flows right along with this river, from engineering marvels like Roebling's Delaware Aqueduct and the incredible Fort Delaware Museum, which gives you a real feel for a young America right before one of its most defining conflicts. All right, enough talk. Let's roll. Hawk's Nest got its name directly from the birds of prey that nest in the cliffs along that stretch of road. It's not just a cool sounding name for a twisty road, it's a literal description of the area's residents. It's common to see bald eagles and various species of hawks hunting and soaring there, especially in the winter months. Fun fact about this place: if you guys have seen Doctor Strange, the Marvel movie Hawk's Nest was used for the pivotal scene where Dr. Stephen Strange crashes his Lamborghini. The dramatic road and sheer drop-off provided the perfect, intense backdrop for his life-altering accident. We've all definitely heard of the Brooklyn Bridge, right? But what do you know about the man that built and designed it? John Augustus Roebling was a German-born American civil engineer. Well, before he created that iconic New York landmark, he was busy proving his revolutionary ideas on other lesser amazing projects. One of the coolest was the Delaware Aqueduct. Believe it or not, it's the oldest wire suspension bridge still standing in the entire United States. Back in the 1840s, the Delaware River was a total traffic jam. Canal barges carrying coal were constantly crashing into massive timber rafts floating downstream. To solve this, Roebling came up with a brilliant idea: a water bridge. Between 1847 and 1849, he built the aqueduct to lift the entire Delaware and Hudson Canal right up and over the river. Barges could just float across, completely avoiding the chaos below. It was a game changer. This project was a huge success and proved that Roebling's powerful wire rope cables were the future. It was the perfect practice run for his later masterpieces, like the suspension bridges at Niagara Falls and eventually the big one in Brooklyn. Alright, so check this out. What you're seeing right now is from my absolutely epic road trip up to Whiteface Mountain. This was a monster of a ride. 3 days, over 1,000 miles, and we're talking at least 6 hours in the saddle every single day. But man, I gotta be real with you. Murphy's Law was just crushing me this whole trip. And then, to top it all off, on the ride back from the Adirondacks, my 360 camera just decided to launch itself off the bike. So I'm calling it my tax to the mountain. What else can you do, right? It totally sucks because it means a ton of amazing footage is just gone for good. Anyway, we're actually coming up on Roebling's Bridge right now, and I'll tell you a bit more about it when we get there. So how in the world did this whole water bridge thing actually work? It's one of those ideas that sounds crazy until you realize it's absolutely genius. John Roebling engineered the aqueduct as a suspension bridge that held a giant, water-filled wooden trough instead of a road. This trough seamlessly connected the D&H Canal on both sides, creating a continuous waterway high above the Delaware River. Mules walked along towpaths on the structure, pulling coal-laden barges through the water from one bank to the other. This ingenious water bridge effectively served as an overpass for boats. It allowed canal traffic to safely and quickly cross the river without interfering with the timber rafts floating below. This single invention turned a dangerous full-day crossing into a safe and routine 30-minute trip, completely solving the traffic problem and proving that Roebling's engineering was the future. If you want to see exactly what life was like on this dangerous frontier, you have to stop at the Fort Delaware Museum of Colonial History. It's a full-scale living recreation of the actual Cushy-Tunk settlement's fort from the mid-1700s. They've authentically rebuilt the entire compound, from the high stockade walls and defensive blockhouses to the settlers' cabins and a working blacksmith shop. It's not a model. It's a faithful reconstruction of the real fort that once stood in this valley. The best part is the costumed interpreters who bring the whole place to life, demonstrating everything from musket firing to candle making. It's like stepping right back in time to experience the daily struggle and survival of America's first settlers. Make sure to chat with the blacksmith. He was full of little anecdotes that totally changed my perspective of that time period in American history. Here's a great example. You know how we all say, sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. To these people, it was a literal thing. In the 16th to 19th centuries, mattresses didn't rest on box springs or solid platforms. They were placed on a wooden bed frame that had a lattice of ropes stretched across it to provide support. These ropes would naturally stretch and sag. To fix this, you would use a special tool called a bed key or rope key. This tool fit into holes on the side of the bed frame and was used to wind a ratchet, pulling the ropes taut. The mattresses of that era were essentially large cloth sacks called ticks, stuffed with whatever material was available and affordable. For most people, this meant stuffing the mattress with straw, hay, corn husks, or even dried leaves. The wealthy might have had feathers or wool, but for the common person, it was basically dried plant matter. A perfect, warm, and hidden home for all sorts of critters. Bed bugs, fleas, lice, and other insects would live, breed, and thrive inside the mattress. So when you put it all together, the full phrase is a relic from a time when a good night's sleep was a luxury you had to work for.
Now, like we always announce the visitors with a bell. There we go, and Daniel's up at the garden, and then there's all kinds of things in the back.
Thank you so much. Hey, what's up? Good, how are you doing?
Could use one of these.
Thank you. I like that.
No, go ahead. After you.
When they came here to clear the land, they'll find rare branches they could find on trees. We were put together to build a fence. So the other one's built 2 years ago, and the outside fence is built from last year. And when they came here, they'll grow food and medicines. And one of the food they will grow are the Three Sisters. And the reason why they're called Three Sisters is because there are 3 different crops growing. And the 3 different crops growing are corn, beans, and squash.
Oh.
And they learned from Native Americans. So with
And just like that, we're at the end of this ride. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe even learned something new. Man, what a day it's been already. I've been on the road since 5:30 this morning, caught an absolutely killer sunrise coming over Yonkers, and had maybe the best bagel of my life at Rockland Bakery, but the day is nowhere near over. For the next part of this trip, the bike and I are leaving the pavement behind to go explore a piece of the northeast backcountry discovery route. You're not going to want to miss that, and that brings up the big question. Is the urban GS a real GS? I guess we're about to find out. Especially since, and I'm being totally serious here, I have pretty much zero off-road skills. This is going to be interesting. Until then, ride safe. Lion out.